A new report claims that HBO and Max executives created an army of troll accounts to target critics of their movies and television shows, and they weaponized identity politics in the process here. Let's get into this here. A new report details that HBO and Max executives Casey Bloys and Kathleen McCaffrey created an army of trolls to target critics of their movies and television shows. This new report comes from Cheyenne Roundtree at Rolling Stone, who claims that Bloys and McCaffrey discussed, quote, what they called a secret army to fire back at several TV critics on Twitter, now known as X, as well as anonymous commenters on articles about HBO programming, according to text exchanges reviewed by Rolling Stone. Roundtree details that the executives trolled, quote, television critics with snarky responses from a fake Twitter account and dropping pro-HBO comments on trade publication stories such as Deadline. According to the Rolling Stone report, the documents they reviewed, which included text exchanges between Bloys and McCaffrey, are part of a lawsuit by former HBO staffer Sully Tamori that accuses HBO of harassing and retaliating against him after he disclosed a mental health diagnosis. In the lawsuit, Tamori alleges he created, quote, fake online accounts to respond to critics. Allegedly, McCaffrey came to Tamori and informed him, Bloys always texts me asking me to find friends to reply. Is there a way to create a dummy account that can't be traced to us to do his bidding? Tamori's lawyer, Michael Martinez, informed the outlet, first and foremost, I think this lawsuit is about HBO's culture and how it fosters a dynamic of ongoing harassment and discrimination in the workplace. They joke about people outside of HBO. They joke about people within HBO. You suffer through some bullying until you can't suffer anymore. Interestingly, one of the troll accounts created by Tamori used identity politics to lampoon critics in response to a criticism of Joss Whedon's The Nevers by the New York Times' James Paniwozik. I'm not sure how to say that. The troll account created by Tamori posted, how shocking that two middle-aged white men, you and Hale, are crapping on a show about women. You can see here this Kelly Shepard account is the troll account that Tamori created on behalf of Bloys and McCaffrey. An HBO spokesman informed Rolling Stone it would not, quote, comment on select exchanges between programmers and errant tweets. Another statement from an HBO spokesman informed the outlet regarding the lawsuit that it, quote, intends to vigorously defend against Mr. Tamori's allegations. We look forward to a full and fair resolution of this dispute. In the meantime, we wish Mr. Tamori, a former HBO employee, well in his future endeavors. This report comes in the wake of growing suspicion that large studios are intentionally trying to manipulate audiences into liking their programs. Back in 2015, Sci-Fi Wire's Danny Roth admitted he played softball with film studios in order to maintain his access to celebrities and the studios. On Sci-Fi Wire's podcast, Who Won the Week, Roth and his co-host, Sci-Fi Wire's contributing editor Karama Horn and Sci-Fi Wire's editor-in-chief Adam Swiderski were discussing the recent changes to Rotten Tomatoes following fans indicating they were not interested in seeing Disney's upcoming Captain Marvel movie starring Brie Larson. I think that's supposed to be 2019 because that's when Captain Marvel came out. But Roth admitted how the access media works. Here's the actual reality. Here's where we actually are in the industry if you want to talk about the, quote, access media. Every single person that wants to have access to things early, that wants to get access to things so that traffic is drawn to their site will on occasion. Everybody at this podcast, everybody in the industry occasionally has to play softball, occasionally has to look the other way a little bit. Everybody has to do it. He continued, in the sense that I hated a movie, but I won't say that I hated a movie, or an actor behaved a sort of way and you don't want to put it out there that happened. Horn then chimed in saying, right, because you might not get the next review. Roth continues saying, to some degree, everybody in our industry that is part of this quote-unquote access media has to decide which battles they want to pick, which of the ones where my voice is the one that has to get said. In September, we also saw a report from Vulture alleging that PR firm Bunker 15 was manipulating Rotten Tomatoes review scores in order for films to obtain higher scores. Bunker 15's founder, Daniel Harlow, said, we have thousands of writers on our distribution list. A small handful have set up a specific system where filmmakers can sponsor or pay to have them review a film. Gina Carano also recently alleged that Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy collaborated with YouTube in order to have critics of the company's films and TV shows removed from the video platform. She wrote, this is the part where Kathleen Kennedy demands any YouTubers get censored off of YouTube for sharing and laughing at this hilarious episode. She'll have YouTube disable the thumbs down option because of the ratio she'll receive. Then she'll have her publicist Ghouls make sure Variety and Hollywood Reporter run hit pieces about the South Park creators and their families, smearing their names through every useful idiot she has under her thumb who would sell their soul to work for Lucasfilm. She'll activate her online mob to repeat that the South Park creators are racist, bigot, transphobes, and demand the South Park creators publicly apologize by only using words she approves of. And finally, she'll demand they subject themselves to a re-education course of 45 people in the LGBTQ community Zoom call to sit there and listen of how badly they got their feelings hurt all over a little boop of a South Park episode. But maybe, just maybe, the jig is up, she concluded. We then had a rumor from Drunk 3PO indicate that a number of emails and notes about Kathleen Kennedy and the Lucasfilm story were expected to be released in the near future. The YouTuber shared on Culture Casino's YouTube channel, the day is coming, and I know the day is coming where there is a lot of emails, there's a lot of notes that someone has collected, and when you see this, it will blow your face off as to how disgusting this woman is, Kathleen Kennedy, and the people that running Lucasfilm, especially over there at the storyboard group. So you guys just got a little tease of what's to come, referring to Carano's tweets. He then added later during the stream, again, there's a nuclear bomb that's coming, and just be ready. All of our YouTube channels will benefit once this stuff hits. YouTuber Price of Reason also alleged back in December 2022 that Kennedy coordinated with Gizmodo writer Jermaine Lussier to control the narrative around the firing of Gina Carano. He said, when Gina Carano was fired, I believe Kathleen Kennedy needed to make sure she could distance herself from the firing while also making both harsh and false accusations about Carano. That way, Carano would be humiliated and canceled by the public, the media, and the entire entertainment industry without it ever being directly tied to Kennedy herself. Enter Jermaine Lussier, who I believe is in Godfather terms Lucasfilm's very own Luca Brasi. Furthermore, I believe that Lussier understood exactly what his position was and that he was more than happy to push Lucasfilm's narrative, especially if it would mean they would continue to give him special VIP access to premieres, Star Wars cast, and crew interviews and scoops. He then explained why he believes this. He said, sometime after the Gina Carano firing, Lussier did a victory lap on a podcast called ATG Cast with Pete Fletzer. In it, Jermaine Lussier boasts that he's gained access to Star Wars cast and crew due to a special relationship with Lucasfilm. After playing a clip of Lussier talking about the access he gained, Price of Reason continues. Lussier tells the podcast that while breaking the Gina Carano scoop, he couldn't believe that they had actually given him the exclusive and not somebody else. Again, after playing another clip of Lucier's comments, Price of Reason states, I believe that Lucasfilm gave Lussier the exclusive because they needed more than just a favorable reporter. They needed more than just a shield. They needed a soldier, a so-called reporter who would repeat what Lucasfilm would tell him word for word and push the exact narrative that they would give him with no questions asked. So lots of stuff adding up here leading into this report, but clearly the big part of it is that HBO has been employing a fake army of social media accounts to respond to critics of their shows and movies. And it's not hard to imagine that if HBO is doing it, the other studios are doing it as well. So I'll leave it to you. What do you make of this? This appears to be something that we all thought was happening. We all knew was happening. We all speculated was happening. But now we're getting more confirmation that it is indeed happening.
Subscribe for more.